Reaction. I am Jan,
Jess.
and today we are reacting to Come Back to Me official MV by our president, Kim Namjoon.
Neptune?
How excited are you?
I'm so excited. I am looking forward to this album so much. I know that I'm gonna cry so hard. Namjoon, I'm ready, kind of.
It's like if the his last album is any indication, it's yeah.
We gonna be crying. We gonna
Yeah.
be crying. There's gonna be tears. Things are gonna be happening. But I am very much looking forward to this.
Yeah, this is a 5 minute and 40-second long video. And I feel like it's been a hot second since we've had a music video this long.
Yeah, I agree. I agree.
One that comes to mind off the bat is Eternity
Oh, yeah.
by TXT.
Yeah.
And that was a couple years ago.
Yeah, music videos have been kind of like shortened. I think it's also like songs in general have become more and more short over time.
Yeah.
I think it's partly due to like the TikTok trend of
Yeah, and I guess also it depends on like what kind of direction they're wanting to go with. This is already like from the stills that I've seen very much giving me like movie vibes.
Yes.
Which I'm not surprised.
I think the same director also did the Bombing Tiger music video as well.
Okay.
So very like probably a similar aesthetic to that. Not necessarily the same like direction overall,
yeah.
but definitely the same like aesthetic that, you know, a
Yeah,
director
you
would
can
have.
definitely like a lot of time between like videos of like made by same people. It's like
Yeah,
you
you
can
can tell that they
definitely
all
see
have
similarities.
they all have
Yeah.
like directors all have like a similar like stamp with certain things. Like you can
Yeah.
tell that it's made by the same person. So
But shall we get right into it?
Let's do it. I'm excited.
Okay. Let me know if you can hear.
I can hear.
Okay.
Oh, look at our boy.
Can I hug him?
Oh, I want to hug him so bad.
Let me give him a hug.
Oh.
Good man. Don't do it. Good man.
I told you I find a night staying good. Spring's always been here. I will sleep in her eyes. Come back to me like you used to do. Be what you be. I will roll you to moon. I forgot the hour. I don't wanna know about the hour. I forgot the shower. 세수할 시간도 아까워. You don't have to be the anything you say. Try not to be that something in this say. Come back to me like you used to. Now I could see what a life is about. I told you I'm fine tonight, stay good. Spring's always been here. I will sleep in her eyes.
Okay, uno momento.
Wait, before we change the tempo here. Woo! Okay. Wow.
Okay, first off, so glad that we're hearing his voice like this.
His lower register, God, it's so good.
We're talking about underrated before we started recording. I mean, he's like talking, singing voice, lower register, definitely underrated.
100%.
He needs to use it more.
It really reminds me of like it's not a similar like tempo, but the way that he uses his voice in Change in part 2 on the Indigo album is very like similar to this, with that lower tone and just like the speaking through the song. I love the like melodic instrumentation that we're getting in the background for this like
Oh
first
yeah, and his voice is like the
chorus.
tempo he's going with his voice is
Yeah,
like
it's
rhythmic. It's giving me poetry. It's giving
yeah. Like very what is the term? Like spoken word, where it's like you have like
yes.
a instrument in the background sort of propelling the vocals forward.
Mm-hmm.
It's like it's so good. And
Yeah, and
the
it's just the way that he's delivering is giving me like slam poetry, like
yes,
big time.
big time. I'm here for it. I also
Mm-hmm.
really am enjoying the like direction of this music video, the like fast cutting between things, the slow like pans and sweeps over, like really smooth and delicious. Like it's I love it. I also love like the match cutting between different scenes.
Yeah.
And like the different rooms feel like they're connected together, like within a
Mm-hmm.
maze of like how he's moving within the spaces. I really
Absolutely.
like it.
Yeah, the
Really
beginning
good.
just me being like, don't do bad things. And then I think it ties in with like the lyrics being like, oh, I'm fine, I'm not doing anything bad, even though you're not
Right.
here. And then cuts into like that scene in the bathroom with the lady and the daughter, and
Yeah.
then cuts into this bedroom scene where they're obviously fighting.
Fighting. Yeah.
And I'm excited to see where this is going because now
Yeah.
the tempo is kind of picking up.
Yeah. Which
Um,
I was not expecting. I was like, are we gonna
and no,
have what is going on? We're switching tempos. God.
all right, let's get back in.
Okay, let's go.
Sleep in her eyes. I see you come back to me. I see you come back to me.
This is groovy. Oh,
Oh! Oh my god.
sorry. Oh. that was pretty
forgot
funny.
the hour. I don't wanna know about the hour. I forgot the shower. 세수할 시간도 아까워. You don't have to beg. You don't have to be the anything you say. Try not to be. Try not to be. There's something in this city. I told you I'm fine tonight. Staying good. Spring's always been here. I will sleep in her eyes. I see you come back to me.
Jesus.
Oh, so interesting.
That is okay, that did not feel like that was 5 minutes long.
No, not at all.
Right place, wrong.
Wrong time. That
Okay,
is so interesting. Okay. Thoughts. Thoughts. Thoughts.
I know you have a lot.
I do have a lot of thoughts. Gosh, that tempo change was so unexpected, but I love it. Like,
Yeah, it was like it came
so
so
good.
quote unquote late.
Yeah.
You know that it felt like it was just gonna be like at the beginning.
Yeah.
And so when it finally came, I was like, oh. And ooh.
I love the like percussion like leading us into it. It's just like so nice and smooth. And then I it's very interesting. Like the theory I have like this theory in my mind because we're seeing like that door constantly. Like we're always flashing back
Yeah.
to the door with the 3 colors on it. I feel like the color actually matches each of the like spaces that he was in and he's moving throughout it. And maybe like, you know, about like memories of those spaces, like coming back to them and
Mm-hmm.
there's like good ones, bad ones, and then at the end it's like accepting all of those things and then
Yeah,
moving
I was
forward.
of the same kind of mind with
Yeah.
my like what I was thinking about this is just like accepting that um like not every relationship is gonna be like sunshines and rainbows and
Yeah.
accepting the flaws and
Yeah.
accepting like the flaws in a relationship, your own flaws and the flaws of the other person
Mm,
brings you to that understanding and
very
does
true.
bring that happiness in the end.
Yeah.
Um
There's like something that sticks in my mind of like if it's meant to be, they will come back to you. Like if it's meant
yes,
to last and stuff,
absolutely.
it'll come back to you.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like that's like a really strong
Because everything is on its
thing.
own timeline.
Yeah, yeah, you can't rush it. You can't
It's like, I
like
mean, my own relationship is, I feel, a prime example for that being
yeah,
like long distance for forever and then going
yeah,
to like the whole like immigration process is like, if it's meant to be, you'll be able to go through it
yeah,
together,
yeah, yeah,
accept the hardships that life throws at you
yeah,
and like grow stronger together.
yeah. It's also like the idea of like you're putting like your own energy out into the world and whatever energy you put out you're going to receive back.
Mm-hmm.
So if you constantly put out negative energy, that's the kind of energy that you're going to receive back.
Absolutely.
And if you're putting out the like even if things are hard, like not being like a toxic positivity stance, but being like I can get through this eventually. It's hard
Yeah,
now,
because
but
if you just like throw positivity, especially on like days, like 100% positivity, even though you're not feeling it,
yeah,
that's where you're it's like a false sense of security, and
yeah,
that's where like you're not helping
no,
yourself, you're not helping others, you're not. It's like that's not gonna work out.
no.
It's like it is okay to take a day and being like, I
I want to
believe this is
wallow.
gonna get but yeah, it's like it is okay to take a day to just like be sad or be
Yeah,
angry, but ultimately knowing that going through that rough patch you're gonna feel better afterwards, that's a true sign of maturity and positivity in my
yeah.
opinion.
And I think like Namjoon, I feel like we're gonna get a similar thing that we did with Indigo of this new side of him exploring himself and
Mm-hmm.
hopefully becoming more secure in who
A
he is as a
very
person.
mature side, like
Yes.
grown mature.
Grown. Yeah. I feel like Indigo had a lot of like emotion and anger and
Yes.
like you know all of these things that he's like trying to push through to go to the other side, and I think potentially that this album is going to be more of like I have been through all of these things, these are the lessons that I've learned, and this is how
And
I am
it's
on the
like
other side.
exactly.
Yeah.
That's also what I think, because through Indigo, we could see he was still kind of maturing through the process,
Yeah,
but he
yeah.
was definitely like getting there
Yeah.
in if that makes sense.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
And I feel like with this album, he's like, I feel like I've grown as much as I could, at least for now.
Yeah.
And as you said, like, this is what I learned, this is what I want to show you, this
Yeah.
is who I am.
Yeah, yeah.
And yeah.
I love it. I honestly like it's such a vibe. Like,
Yeah, I was
gosh.
not expecting this, but also expecting this for
Yeah.
the pre-release.
Yeah. I mean, okay, so we have heard a snippet of this song. If you guys watched the D-Day concert, Namjoon teased this song as a part of his like solo adventure on stage.
Yep.
So I
So it makes a lot of sense that this is like the pre-release
Yeah,
single.
because I'm pretty sure we heard just the first portion of it. We didn't hear the rest of the song. So
It
I
might
was
have
like,
been, it might have
okay,
still been a work in progress whenever he teased it.
maybe.
It might have just had that first snippet.
Maybe. Honestly,
Who knows?
King, listen, I was expecting we'd hear Wildflower.
Mm-mm.
No, not today, Satan.
Mm-mm.
Not today.
Not today.
No, I love it. I can't wait for the rest of the album. We'll definitely be reacting to like the main track and doing
Yeah,
a
obviously,
full album breakdown.
obviously, as it comes out, yeah, we'll be reacting to like any other MV that comes out, and obviously doing our breakdown on the main podcast.
Yes.
But this is pretty refreshing.
Definitely.
Yeah, it's
I
like
agree. It makes me so excited for when BTS comes back. I'm like,
yes,
especially like since we've gotten Hope on the Street and we're gonna be getting this album, I feel like I'm ready
yeah,
for like the new Bangtan that's gonna come out because
absolutely.
it's gonna be nuts and I'm excited.
Because like, I mean, we were saying even when they first like announced that they were like chapter 2 and everything, it's
Yeah.
like they're maturing on their own to find their own sound for their own self, like as they are growing. Because obviously, like they debuted, they were teenagers and young adults, and now they are like late 20s, early 30s, and so
Yeah.
they're very much like adults.
Yes.
And so it's kind of like shifting into, not that like the rest of the discography is not bad, but obviously you see like a maturity and a growth.
Yes.
And they're definitely like bring that because they grew together as a group, they matured as a group together.
Yeah.
And then it was like, oh, we're gonna do that same growing but by ourselves.
Yeah, for ourselves.
And so now like bringing that all together, I feel like is gonna bring something absolutely magical.
Oh yeah.
And also considering that a lot of armies, I'm not like generalizing or anything, but I feel like a lot of armies are in the same like age demographic that they
Yes.
are.
100%.
And so
100%.
can relate a lot.
A lot. Well, and I feel like, my 20s was a lot of like discovering who I was, what I wanted. Like my personality wasn't necessarily developed in my 20s, and I feel like in my 30s it's gotten more concrete and solid about like who I am, what I believe in, the things that I like want to accomplish. All of those things are solidified within my 30s, And
I mean,
like,
just from when I started being an army.
Yeah. Oh my God.
It's like
Yeah.
just what you look back, it's just like just from when we became an army to now. We're not the same person.
No, not at all. Not at all. And I feel like it's the same with BTS, and I'm excited for all of them to like come into this new like element that they haven't necessarily been
so
a part of
excited
yet.
It's gonna be so
excited.
good. It's gonna be
so
so good.
good.
Because there's something just so magical, just like growing with like an artist that
Yeah.
you like relate to a lot.
Yeah.
And like being in the same like age group.
Yeah.
And then growing with them.
Oh yeah.
I don't know. I've had the same thing with like a character in a book that I read as a teenager. Basically, like as the book were coming out and I was reading them, she was like the character was going through, like she was the same age as I was, so she was going
Right.
through the same like stages in life. And so I was just like, I just relate to this character so much, and I feel like the same one with BTS. I mean,
Yeah.
I'm technically the same age as JK,
Yeah,
and so I'm just like growing with them. I don't know, it just feels so special, you know?
it does. It really does. It feels so like a unique experience.
It's like relating in a way that you wouldn't think you would.
Yeah. 100%.
Yeah. But this brings us, before we transform this into a full-blown podcast
Yes.
episode.
We'll save the
So
rest
this
of
was
our philosophy
yes,
for
for
Thursday.
next week, yeah. So this was our reaction to Come Back to Me by RM. Let us know in the comments what your reaction was and how exciting you are, how excited you are for the album coming out. And as usual, you can find us on our social medias at Army Think Tank or at Army Think Tank Podcast. And we'll see you on Thursday for the regularly scheduled podcast episode.
See you guys on Thursday.
Bye, guys.